What's the most shocking announcement your church ever made? It was a peaceful Sunday morning when Pastor Williams asked everyone to remain seated after the closing hymn. "Before you leave today," he said, his voice unusually shaky, "I need all adult congregation members to stay in the sanctuary. Children and teenagers, please go to Fellowship Hall with Mrs. Rodriguez." The request felt strange. In 15 years at Riverside Community Church, we'd never had an adults-only meeting after service. Parents exchanged confused glances as they sent their kids downstairs. My neighbor Claire squeezed my arm. "What do you think this is about?" she whispered. As families settled back into the pews, I noticed two men in dark suits standing near the altar. Pastor Williams stood at the pulpit looking pale and exhausted. "My dear church family," he began, his voice trembling. "Last night, we received information that requires immediate transparency. These are Detective Harris from Financial Crimes and Agent Thompson from the State Attorney General's office." The sanctuary fell completely silent. Agent Thompson stepped forward. "For the past 18 months, we've been investigating fraudulent charity organizations. Your church's charitable giving account has been compromised. Donations you thought were going to homeless shelters and disaster relief have been diverted to fake organizations and private accounts." Detective Harris raised his hand as people reached for phones. "Please refrain from discussing this until our investigation is complete. We'll need to interview members who made significant charitable contributions." As board members organized interview lists, whispers spread through the sanctuary. When I approached the table, Detective Harris checked my name against a list, then quietly asked me to join a smaller group in the pastor's office. About 20 other members were already there. Agent Thompson closed the door. "Your names appeared on a premium donor list. Your larger contributions were specifically tracked and redirected. My family had been donating generously, especially after my father passed and left us an inheritance we'd been giving monthly." Everyone in this room had participated in the legacy giving circle that Pastor Williams' daughter had started last year. An hour later, Pastor Williams returned to the sanctuary, looking like he'd aged a decade. "The investigation has identified those responsible for stealing from our charitable funds." His voice broke. "We've arrested Thomas Henderson, our church treasurer for the past 5 years. Shocked gasps filled the sanctuary. But Pastor Williams wasn't finished. Tears streamed down his face. "We've also arrested my daughter, Rebecca Williams Henderson, who coordinated our charitable outreach programs, and my son-in-law, David Henderson, who managed our online donation system." The sanctuary erupted. Rebecca, the enthusiastic woman who'd organized our mission trips, who'd convinced us to increase giving because every dollar saves lives. The family that had administered our charity, the treasurer, the pastor's daughter, and her husband, had systematically stolen donations meant for disaster victims and struggling families. Pastor Williams collapsed into his chair. "They stole over $340,000 from our charitable funds. Money for hurricane victims went toward their vacation home. Donations for homeless shelters paid for luxury cars. Your Christmas gifts for orphan children bought designer clothes." The church closed for 2 weeks while auditors examined every account. When services resumed, a third of our congregation had left. Pastor Williams resigned in shame. 6 months later, I learned my father's memorial donation had actually purchased Rebecca's engagement ring upgrade.